Yeah, so we'll see what they do tomorrow, obviously. Again, in the losers bracket, we'll be covering that series there as, oh no. Oh, okay, my OBS is going crazy. There we go. Okay. Reason Gaming on the left, also on the right. Okay, everything looks good there. All right, so again, Reason Gaming up 1-0 here. And what is another round of 8 matchup, of course, coming at you, like we keep talking about. The winner of this will play Willowkeeper now, and the loser plays, well, Twisted Fusion tomorrow. Meanwhile, in the middle lane, here we go. Pebbles, he gets pulled in by Prisoner, and Pebbles is going to fall right there. Dren's actually getting credit on the Rhapsody, so jump right in and right away going to blow those kill. Bottom lane, no, Swiftblade's going to be fine. As, look who that is, Bushwhack chasing him down. So let's kind of get our bearings straight right here. What do we got going on? We got a Bushwhack being played by Imbo Boy on Reason Gaming.
And a Behemoth as well. So
That's true.
Interesting. Yeah, so I mean, I do actually like this kind of combination because you've kind of got like your ranged carry here with Bushwhack, and also you've got your melee support. So although obviously the melee support isn't the strongest of laning phase or lane sort of presence, obviously you do have the ranged carry to sort of offer in something. Obviously, Behemoth a great support, particularly in the mid game when you pick up the portal key there. So one thing to note though is obviously Beaver Banger is on that Gemini, so I mean Reason definitely have to be a little bit worried.
Yeah. Yeah, that's that is a fair point. Now, Reason Gaming, again, we got to note right here, as I was just talking about, but just to kind of clarify and really see what we're dealing with. Again, Imbo Boy and Zay, the brothers here, that they are the same team still, obviously. They're still part of it, but they got 3 new players. TPS Priceless, Near, and Way Too Easy here. As actually, speaking of him, Pebbles, he got pulled in, but he got the Stalagmites off in time, and is going to be fine there. But so this is their new roster, though. Again, we recognize these players ultimately. Other than Way Too, I don't know if I recognize him, honestly, if he's been around a whole lot.
He's been around. Glacius, you're dead.
Well, speaking of Glacius, TPS Prices, he has been around a lot, and he goes down. He's the new captain for the team. Speaking of that, by the way, and again, that's something else we talked about on the podcast, as he has kind of that leadership experience. So
I like it.
Yeah. Again, there's a lot of hype. Pro Busk seems to believe, even though he ultimately got removed for the team, again, things just weren't working out, as he put it. He actually believes this is a very strong team and expects them to do very good. I was a little skeptical until hearing that, honestly. But after hearing that, I'm like, okay, maybe we should expect some big things. And hey, they're up 1-0 over Nullstone, who finished 3rd last cycle.
Yeah, no, I mean, I actually suggested that Reason. Obviously, we're going to go down to gold, but
that's true.
Clearly, I was completely wrong. So,
what were you thinking?
I don't know, you know, Nullstone game, they could still come back, you know, sunny game.
It's true.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's not out of the question yet. It's definitely
They got
possible.
Gemini as well. I mean, they are actually ahead in terms of gold and experience. 1,000 gold up and 1,000 experience up.
Yeah.
But I mean, we haven't really seen too much of Bushwhack, really. I don't know if Quincy actually has the stats or he's actually already posted them. I just haven't really been paying attention.
Nothing about Bushwhack here, looks like, but I don't think we have. This might be the first time we've seen it, but yeah, we'll get confirmation on that. Pebbles in the meantime in the middle lane once again some action. He is going to go down right there as the prison break came out, but here we go. The seismic slam, not enough damage initially, but it is going to be enough. Oh, he barely gets away. The wall off was an awkward position right there, and that is one of your true downsides of Behemoth. It can sometimes piss you off if you're on his team, because they definitely have that kill if the wall was just a little bit more to the right there.
Yep. I mean, at the same time, they wouldn't have already had the Fisher damage as well, so would he have died? Yeah. Dependent.
That's
yeah,
fair.
But obviously, good what you got, Aphelios touch there, and actually good pathing coming from Cholo Simeon as well, just about sort of skirted away from Rally's auto attack as well, so does survive in the end. And again, Prisoner, we've seen him sort of bounce back and forth between, you know, picked a lot, hasn't been picked a lot, but I think particularly in the dual lane, that's where he sort of shines, because obviously we've had 2 kills already, both on Pebbles actually, where we've just seen him dominate, honestly, in the dual lane. Obviously, with the rotation coming from Ophelia, even stronger as well. So, yeah. Bottom lane, though.
Yeah, we do have more action down here. Swiftblade going to be caught. No, we got the Swift Slashes off, though, just before Bushwhack goes down. The perfect timing from Fuzzy Sloth. He was spamming that R button and got it off in time to take out Bushwhack. Rally is still here, though. Compel in 2 seconds. Is it going to be in range? No, yeah, the stutter's definitely not helping right there. Yeah. And in the end, he falls back. So, but, man, Bushwhack, as you saw right there, so he has apparently been picked up in 2 games on record. Happen and not win either of them. But, you know, when I think Bushwhack, there's a game that comes to mind. I don't even know if it was, I think it was even a scrim, but it was back when, you know, Stay Green, Chessie actually played it, and he got some insane GPM. It was like 900 plus, or maybe it was even over 1,000. Again, it was just like a scrimmage. Yeah, it was over 1,000. That's why it was so big. Yeah. So, to say the least, I mean, yes, it was a scrimmage, and nothing really on the line of this, but this hero has potential to get pretty damn crazy.
Definitely. I mean, we used to play it a little bit in terms of instant reflex, and to me, it's sort of similar to a Moon Queen in the sense that it can farm very, very quickly, like you said, 1,000 gold GPM, but also it does have the potential to sort of gank a little bit better than in terms of, say, the Moon Queen as well, because if you pick up an Assassin Shroud, obviously a lot of mobility on the Bushwhack, and can do a lot of burst damage as well, and it's just really hard to sort of lock down and control. It's kind of a mix between like the Doctor Repulsor and sort of Moon Queen in that sort of sense. A lot of mobility, a lot of farming potential as well, but you do have to sort of get off the ground here. That first step is going to make a big difference. Actually, mid lane, another hook actually.
Yeah, Prisoner on the ball with landing these hooks, and he's going to ultimately set up the kill right there in the end. The Prison Break obviously assisting with that. So Cholo Simeon doing some work.
Solo. That was a solo kill as well, actually.
Oh, yeah. I was like, did I pronounce that wrong? No.
No, it's just a solo kill. So.
That's true, yeah. He got the kill all by himself in the end. So, yeah, doing some work right there and taking out Pebbles. Pebbles, I mean, he's been getting hit by these hooks, man. So it's maybe a little bit on him, but also you got to give credit to Prisoner, obviously.
Yeah, and how, I mean, reason they do need to sort of slowly get back into this game because they are, far behind and they're getting worse and worse. 5,000 gold lead, 5,000 experience, and it's kind of hard for them to get back into the game. Obviously, Pebbles has had such a bad start because of just the domination here on the Prisoner, and obviously they've had a few rotations go out from Rally, but if you actually see the lanes sort of where they are at the moment, obviously the Nullstone Gaming is their tier 1 tower, or the short lane tier 1 tower here for Nullstone Gaming. Obviously they pushed it in, so now they can sort of safely farm into their own jungle. You've got Rhapsody and sort of Prisoner here in the mid lane, so they're kind of hard to gain. Obviously Rhapsody's level 6 now. Potentially there's rotation coming from Ophelia as well, and Swiftblade just are very hard to hero to kill as well. So it's very, very little that Region Gaming can get back into the game, other than maybe just try and farm and get a few items before they start ganking, and that's what they're doing here. But I mean, don't expect a big change in momentum here for Reason Gaming unless some misplays coming out from Nullstone Gaming. Yeah,
Emma Boy, he's got a Steam Boots, he's got the Energizer, so again, 300 gold per minute. He has potential, like we keep going back to, and he definitely recover, but we'll need a bit of time. And needs that supporting cast to definitely step up. You see right there, the Poison Dart, pretty effective tool for harassing with. Level 4 especially, doing some good damage to Swiftblade, but really just kind of poking him out of the lane. Now, as I say that, Gemini is down here looking for an opening, but he was spotted by the Ward of Sight, so no surprise that nothing's going to really happen. It supports back top saying, screw this. I'm not going to continue to waste time. There goes the Rev Ward. Is that in range? No, it is not. What do they change the button to? Damn it, I knew this. What do they change the button to? It's not K anymore. Oh,
I think it's bugged. It's bugged.
No, it's not bugged. It was P, wasn't it? Yeah. Well, my P's not doing anything.
It's bugged. I'm pretty sure it's bugged.
I used it before.
Bottom lane.
Looking at it. Anyways, bottom lane, Swiftblade. Okay, Mo protected Melody. Just in time. Out comes the Swift Slash. Going to bounce around. He throws out the spin. In comes the heal from Ophelia. Finally, they take out Rhapsody. They chase down Swiftblade. The slow connect. It looks like they are going to be able to. And yes, he does go down. Double tap for Immo Boy. And that's the momentum killer that Reason Gaming needed right there to at least keep things calm and starting their comeback attempt early on.
Yeah, and I think actually there was a little bit of misplay from Swiftblade, honestly, from Fuzzy Sloth. Like he kind of tried to help out Rhapsody, but like the 4v2 and there was no team support coming from Nullstone Gaming. He could have easily got out. I mean, Rhapsody sacrificed her life to sort of save the Swiftblade, and when you have only 140 GPM, like you can't really be sort of dying. You need to really get back into this game, and in the end, Fuzzy Sloth does drop in the end, but there's something, at least there's something going here for Reason Gaming. They've obviously got 2 kills, they've got the 2-1 tower. They are still quite far behind, but at least it's a start to get back into this game.
Yeah, that's right. I blew way too easy. It's supposed to be Bree, the player Bree, and that name definitely recognized as far as being familiar. So I was trying to. I know that wasn't the 5th player that we were talking about on the podcast when we were. So, but yeah, or Embry even is apparently who that should be. So. I'm gonna go with that. Anyways, back to the game now. Nearly 13 minutes into this game again. Gemini, Beaver Banger knows what he's doing on this hero. Very comfortable with it. Nearly 400 gold per minute right now. So he tried to be of assistance at the bottom lane, but the Ward Side spotted him, and again just went back to the top to simply continue to farm as he's been doing here, and most certainly has quite the opening. Prisoner also off to the great start, and definitely a big reason why Nullstone Gaming is looking fairly strong here. And in game number 2, in fact, the portal key just coming out for him. So he's got that initiation tool now to work with. Swiftblade, though, as far as negatives, unfortunately, Fuzzy Sloth not doing the best here with his farm. And understandable, though, Suicide Swiftblade, we're so spoiled, I think, seeing Keizu especially run it for sync. And just how he ends up dominating with it some way, somehow. But you know, it's understandable to be struggling as a Suicide Swift Blade, especially when a couple of your teammates are looking pretty strong anyway, so there will be a recovery time for him. As speaking of that, looks like maybe a little bit right here. Gonna try some triple stack Ancients, but is that okay? That's he has the pattern for the Null Stone. That's always one of those funky. He has a Null Stone and a Sustainer. No, it's just a Null Stone pattern with a Sustainer, so he needs a Blessed Orb still.
I mean, I'm not honestly too. I don't really like this item pick about it, honestly, to come out from Imberboy, because, like, first off, like, the Null Stone doesn't offer too much in terms of what you offer as a bushwhack, and at the second sort of instance as well, like, there's not a lot of sort of targeted spells here that can really be blocked, other than maybe the Swift Flashes from some Swift Blade, or, you know, the Staccato Stun from Rhapsody. I prefer the actually energize the Whispering Helm build and sort of try and escalate your farm in that respect, and then start, you know, picking up maybe the Assassin's Shroud or the damage sort of style of sort of farm. Because, I mean, there's a lot of money. I mean, obviously it has been reduced to only 4,000, but still, it's just not that big of a deal, honestly, to me. And I think there could be a slight bit of item choice than that. I mean, obviously it does block the shackle coming out from Prisoner, sort of stopping from sidestepping, but I don't know, still, to me, I think there could maybe have been a better item pickup, but that's just my opinion.
Like a Thunderclaw.
Yep, or a Codex, but...
Come on! Thunderclaw's legit. I don't know.
I think it could work.
Yeah, no, I do kind of agree with you, though.
Oh,
it just seems like it's so routine to maybe go that, especially nowadays. But Rhapsody does get picked off in the middle lane. Obviously, some pretty good coordination right there. Just a lot of jump potential. And they're running that 1-4 strat, basically, where the 4 of them are kind of going around just buying time for Bushwhack to freely farm by himself. Yeah, the hook attempt right there from Prisoner, just out of range. He had a haste room, but he's going to have another one in 3 seconds right here. We'll see if he maybe gets that opportunity. Bushwhack, though, is nearby. Level 11 right here. Has that level 2 jungle Toxin. So, you know, not the biggest impactful ultimate in the world, but still something. Rally, big compel's done. On and 2, Stalagmites fall. Twin Fate's going to be coming out from Gemini, but that might come at a cost for him. Down goes Prisoner. He got the prison break up, but it doesn't matter. Gemini goes down with a split up. He could not stay alive long enough. Swiftblade comes in with a swift slash to the spin, but look at that damage from Bushwhack. Rhapsody, though, the protective melody, saving initially, but not in the long run. It's going to be a genocide for Reason Gaming. Dangerous, you called it, and dangerous it was.
I mean, okay, yeah, I understand that obviously Rhapsody was dead. Like, it was 5 seconds, just wait for it to TP, come back in and then go. Like, and then at the same time, they didn't have Swiftblade. Like, they saw obviously the whole of the Reason were going to defend that, and they went in 5v3. They obviously saw the portal key from Rally when they picked off Rhapsody. They just need to think a little bit, because now obviously Reason Gaming are very, very far ahead. They're going to take this T1 tower top, and this is what I mean. Like, a slight sort of mind block in terms of the team decision can make such a big difference. These players, amazing in terms of individual skill, but all it takes is that, you know, one little mind block or one little, you know, bad decision in terms of the team, and can make all the difference. Reason exactly what they needed to do, sort of capitalise on the mistakes from Null Gaming, and now that they're ahead in terms of 2,000 gold and 2,000 experience, and I mean, Null Gaming, they really do need to sort of buckle up their ideas really if they want to sort of, you know, take it to a game 3.
Yeah, and Bushwhack, in a sense, kind of reminds me a little bit of Clank, so, you know, not very, very similar, but at the same time, well, there's a couple of comparisons. One is that he's not your often picked up carry. And, you know, we kind of saw that impact with Willowkeeper doing it with Clanks, how it really did catch teams off guard. You know, they're not used to that positioning and how it works ultimately. And he has a lot of burst potential, a lot of just constant rapid fire potential with it. Bushwhack's kind of similar in that sense. You know, it's not as rapid fire necessarily, but that damage over time that kicks in with his ultimate, the poison dart that's somewhat spammable, and the mobility aspect with that lunge of his, or the sidestep even, as it's appropriately called. So, again, it's going to be kind of those factors kicking in here for Null Gaming, especially after that last fight and him really starting to kick it into high gear now. In the meantime, the top lane, Beaverbanger goes down once again. So you can just feel it, man. The momentum has completely swung in favor of Reason Gaming here all of a sudden.
And I think if you recall, like about 10 minutes ago, I was like, Reason, there's not much they can really do because they don't have the items, but now they've got the portal keys on Rally, they've got the portal keys on Behemoth, obviously they've got the portal key on Pebbles as well, so there's a lot of gank potential, a lot of sort of catcher potential, and picking off obviously the carry here for Null Gaming is the biggest priority here. Gemini only 300 GPM, and we've seen obviously Null Gaming, particularly Beaverbang, completely wrecked games with Gemini, but he needs obviously a good start, he needs that farm. And Reason Gaming are doing a great job of sort of locking him down. So Reason Gaming are looking very, very strong here in game 2.
Yeah. You see right there the hook just simply farming and whatnot. But Prisoner, again, ever since he's gotten that portal key, They tried to make use of it right away. It obviously completely backfired, and now maybe holding him back. But, yeah, look at that stat right there. Like I was saying, Beaverbanger knows what he's doing with this hero. Happens to be 5-0, 540 gold per minute, basically, with those hero kill stats on Gemini. But right now, they are in a troublesome spot. I don't know if they've been in a position like this with him on Gemini, especially with him only at 316 gold per minute for the time being. So this is not looking good for Nullstone Gaming as things are developing. Once again right here. You got a portal key now on Behemoth as well as Rally, so...
Oh man, so much catch potential.
Yeah.
So much. But yeah, I mean, just going back to, obviously we didn't see the draft initially, but if you can see sort of what Nullstone Gaming have sort of done, they've got kind of some good teamfight potential, but obviously the potential of late game with the Gemini and Swiftblade. But, I mean, the only sort of teamfight and group up and push they've done is the middle lane, and that was kind of honestly fouled execution. Obviously, they went as 3 and 5, but they still need to play to sort of their strengths of the lineup. Obviously, they've got Rapsy, Ophelia, and Prisoner, probably the top 3 heroes to have when you're pushing in terms of sort of pushing tier 1s, pushing tier 2s. They are grouping up here in the bottom lane, and I think that's exactly what they need to do. They've been getting caught out a lot from obviously the portal keys of Legion Gaming. Of Legion. So in that respect, Legion Gaming. Yeah, they've been getting picked up a lot, so as long as they stick together, then there's no way they can get picked up in that respect. So
yeah.
Reason Gaming sort of, I think they know they can't actually beat them in terms of the team fights. They are going to trade, so good counterplay here coming from Reason.
Yeah. Makes sense, they're pushing that top lane. Again, the 4 of them are here, though. They've been doing this bushwhack kind of off on its own. He's clean up Ancients. Look at this, he actually gets a Warp left. Does he have a Thunderclaw on the way? Oh, no, that's just a TP for the time being, but I assume that's what that's going to be.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not going to be a demonic breastplate, no way.
That would be... Well, I don't know. I wouldn't put that out of the question, honestly.
I wouldn't. Not a second item. Not a second item. It wouldn't make any sense.
Well, obviously, the awkward thing is, too, is that it usually would go Soul's Bulwark first, if that's the case, but...
But you wouldn't even pick up Soul's Bulwark if there's the Thunderclaw. Yeah, I would have put £1 million in there.
Well, hey, so he gets Thunderclaw second. Now, that is a little interesting, though, also.
It would have been a lot better if he got it first. And I mean, I don't think he should have got picked up the Nullstone anyway, but he does pick up here. And that's fine. I mean, like I said, he's got great farming potential, and now with this Thunderclaw, it's going to be even greater as well.
You know what it is?
What?
He heard me.
He must
heard me. He's like, or somebody mentioned, like, Breaky said, get this item. He's like, you know what? That makes a lot of sense. So
Bushwhack might be in trouble, actually.
This is
he does have the Nullstone.
Yeah, he has a Nullstone, so the Shackle not going to be the best here, but at least going to remove it, then maybe Prison Break. Oh, he wants to do it, though. There we go. There's the opening. Okay, takes an Nullstone out. Prison Break comes out right there. Bushwhack going to be pulled back. And Gemini's like, no, thank you. He's not going to follow. Oh, he quickly turned around right there, man.
I mean, I think he was trying to line up the stun, actually. I think he ran a little bit too forward, so he knew if he actually twin-fanged, he would have missed him. So he sort of backed off, and then obviously saw the other people coming, and then backed off altogether in the end. But yeah, there's the Thunderclaw, and I think it does make sense, though, to be fair, with sort of the hero itself. Obviously, 490 GPM as your mid lane.
Behemoth jumps in, the big shockwave takes out Rhapsody. He gets pulled in, though, and now he's going to end up sacrificing, so... That's one of your classic cases of, especially I do that all the time, man. On Behemoth, it's like I just want to go, man. I see it's somewhat of a cluster, I just go, and it's like, wait, this might have not been the best choice. I mean, he was diving basically to the base tower with the secondary tower still up, so kind of backfired right there. But getting antsy, understandable.
Yeah, I mean, they are still ahead in terms of 4,500 gold and 3,700 experience. And like I said, they've got the Thunderclaw on Bushwhack. I think he probably needs maybe the Stronger Head, perhaps. I mean, he does have quite a lot of defensive build-ups already. All Glacius just going to get away with the TP in the end. But I mean, Stronger Head most likely being picked up on Pebbles, and Rally most likely going to pick up maybe Staff or Tablet. But they probably need a few more irons before they can actually make the push happen. Whereas actually, you know, Nullstone Gaming, they can make the push happen right now. They've got the Astrolabe, they've got the Portal Key on Prisoner. Obviously, they could have maybe the Stronger Head on Prisoner, but that's not really needed compared to say the Stronger Heads on Reason Gaming here. And I think if they miss their timing here for Nullstone Gaming, they could be in a little bit of trouble. Because I mean, look at the GPM actually here on Bushwhack, nearly 500 GPM, and that's only going to increase as well with obviously the Thunderclaw. So.
That was a nice steal from Prisoner. He had a haste, and he just portal keyed in, took out the tower right as Behemoth was trying to deny it, and actually it runs away shortly after. So well played right there by Prisoner. And actually speaking, I don't know if you know again one of these mechanic things, but Prisoner's ultimate, is that actually deactivated by the Nullstone, or will that?
No, it's not. Right? It goes through. It's true.
Okay, so that makes sense. So yeah, he just has the shackle to take it off, but that's all he can do at the same time. So, all right, but yeah, Thunderclaw on a Bushwhack again, nearly 500 gold per minute, just about there basically. I assume that's going to be upgraded into a charge. I mean, do you have to go charge jammer if you go Thunderclaw? Is it just like...
Yeah, well, I mean, you do definitely have to do it eventually. It doesn't mean you have to do it now. It doesn't necessarily mean it, but I mean, if you're spending like that much amount of money on sort of farming item, why not increase it? Like, he does obviously need a shrunken head, so he might go for that, but I'd assume he's going to go for a Thunderclaw, but no, he's actually going to pick up a Blessed Orb instead, so most likely it's going to be a Geometer's Bane. Obviously, we are going to see the full-on charged hammer eventually, but most likely he's going to pick up some kind of stats, which are not understandable. There is a lot of burst potential, obviously, with Swiftblade, Prisoner, and Gemini. I mean, Shrunken Head could have sort of done that for him, but I think he's got he's got the Null Stone, so he doesn't need to really get another maybe defensive item in that respect.
Yeah, feeling good going this round instead, so he's going to push in the bottom secondary. 0 defense put up right there, coming out from Nullstone Gaming. Instead, they're farming elsewhere. As Gemini, I believe, just finishes Geometer's Bane. So we'll have a Geometer's Bane picked up, and that's being delivered. I assume that removes the Jungle Toxin stacks that would be applied to you from Bushwhack if you use a Geometer's Bane. I don't see why not, so maybe that's some logic to that, as well as just being a good item in general. So some good use you can make of that. How's Swiftblade recover? Fuzzy Slot, talked about earlier against Suicide Swiftblade, was struggling early on, but now 256 gold per minute. He's got a Firebrand on top of it. He's squishy, man. He's going the squishy build here.
Yeah, and it's kind of almost the beauty of actually the lineup here for Reason Game. And obviously, like, if you can't face them in one way, because obviously they're going to counter it for items, obviously they've got the burst potential here of Legion. So like you said, he's quite squishy in that respect, and the burst potential here of Rally, Behemoth and Pebbles, he would be definitely easy to sort of get picked off here. And I mean, although obviously he does see the mid, he's pushing up a little bit far here in the bottom lane. Most likely going to pick up a TP and then rotate to the middle lane.
Yeah. Double damage Bushwhack. That is scary. Pushing in the middle lane, waiting for the creep wave here, but he has massive team. Everybody basically going to just kind of be baiting him right here. And again, they got triple portal key. They have ways to really counter-initiate. So just because you see maybe an opportunity doesn't mean you should take it if you're Nullstone Gaming, because you could just be fighting right into what they want. So got to be very careful what you pick and choose right here. As far as initiation, there we go. He hooks up Bushwhack. Are we going to see the response coming out? There goes the ultimate from Prisoner, pulls it back in. Bushwhack is dropping. Where's Behemoth awaiting? There's Behemoth with the shockwave as expected. He stops to protect the melody. Swift Slash just comes out, but Gemini is already dead. Bushwhack, he's somewhat still low on life, but he doesn't really care, it seems like. But again, exactly, it's just like they have so much potential to return damage in these fights and counter-initiate. And it kind of went as you would have expected right there.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, that's such a big play coming out from Bray on the Pebbles. I don't know if you saw, but it actually stopped. Gemini was mid-animation of the Twin Flames to actually lock down the Bushwhack. If Bushwhack dies, that fight could be completely different. Instead, gets the stun onto Gemini, which actually allows the Bushwhack to survive. And then you saw the Behemoth and then the Rally. There's so much combo in terms of AoE synergy. And again, Nullstone Gaming, they've kind of missed their sort of peak in terms of all the pushing aspects. And they are very far away, sort of, having it equal in terms of the team fight. They need the Shrunken Heads on even the Gemini, as well as even the Swiftblade as well, because there's too much magical damage here coming out from Reason.
Behemoth heading back to base. And I got to give credit to him, too, near on the Behemoth. Like I was saying, I mean, I know these players a lot better than me in the end, at least nowadays. I used to be really good, but... as far as jumping it, I mean, again, a lot of moments you're like, I just want to go, as we talked about earlier. He was patient with it. He definitely could have gone a lot earlier, but he was waiting for that right key moment, the sweet spot, and he definitely found it throughout that fight. So, not an overwhelming fight with that said. I mean, they only got the Gemini in the end, but still a one fight for Reason Gaming nonetheless, and any one fight is going to keep that momentum going and increase that lead that much more. So, the benefit nonetheless, 8,500 goal lead, 6,800 experience lead right now for Reason Gaming right here. Prisoner does have a Shrunken Head finished with that set, but in the meantime, Geometer's Bane just picked up by Bushwhack. He got a Shrunken Head here on Pebbles. Portal Key and Tablet on Behemoth. He's had that even now for a little bit. And Staff of the Master in the works, actually, for Zane right here playing that rally. And especially with this lineup, man, that really has a lot of potential to be devastating against this Hellborn team. So Nullstone really needed to continue to look out for that. But Gemini, again, he got the Geometer's Bane. He really hasn't been able to skyrocket that GPM just yet. He's gone up a little bit since we last checked, about 378 right now. But could definitely still use more time. And they're trying to give that to him as he's going to continue farming elsewhere on the bottom side of the map. But you see the top side. Reason Gaming doesn't want to give them too much opportunity. Gonna keep them.
They might try and sneak Conga actually. Yeah, they're going to try and sneak Conga. But I don't know if they're actually going to be quick enough because Reason are pushing in very, very quickly. And if they lose Rax, this is not going to be a good decision for them to make. But they've got to kill this Conga quickly. They are pushing it. They're putting him down quite quickly. But remember, Ophelia, she can't really TP back, so she has to run all the way back to the top lane as well. So questionable decision, but they are going to take Conga down. It's going to be down before Reason start hitting down the Rax.
Yeah.
And in the end, it might be a good decision in the end.
There we go. Conga goes down. Token of life. Going to be on Gemini. So will this be a big key? You see Bushwhack just doesn't really care too much. He's going to stand in the front line again. He doesn't have a token, so at the same time needs to be a little careful right here. But as we went earlier, and it's still down the same here. He got tucked in, but he's able to sidestep away. In the meantime, Pebbles in the back gun. There goes the circle down for Prisoner. He pops his ultimate. He pulls back in Pebbles right there. But there's the Behemoth Shockwave in the background. It locks on Gemini. Gemini's going to be dropping right here. He does go down, has a token though. Going to bring it right back up. So Slash is flying around. Bushwhack is still alive in the background. He's just kiting as much as he can. But the damage is actually done by Nullstone. They did not lose anyone. And they take out Rally and Behemoth. Glacia's going to go for the TP. He should be able to. As yes, he gets on out of there. And Pebbles and Bushwhack are like, okay, we need to go now too. And that will be successful. So they're both should be fine. Bushwhack, yeah, he's going to be good as he gets out. But Nullstone holds.
Yeah, just all down to that token, honestly. Like I said, if Gemini didn't have a token there, that would have been like almost a lost team fight instantly. So then a great decision to actually try and sneak Conga, and they did get back in time as well. So actually really well play count from Nullstone Gaming, and they do actually reduce the experience lead by only 500, and now gold by only 4,600. And I mean, almost token acts somewhat like a Shrunken Head. Obviously, if he had a Shrunken Head, he wouldn't be taking all that damage. Instead, obviously, he took all that damage, but he revived in itself. So I would like to see Gemini's pick up a Shrunken Head because he's not going to have a token for the next fight in that respect. So,
yeah.
And there's so much magical damage coming out from Reason that he really does need to sort of survive in this team fights if Nullstone Gaming are going to sort of come out ahead. And there's the Mighty Bay, so very real pick up here from Beaver Banger.
Yeah. Gonna go that direction, and again, Swiftblade is also starting to really step it up too. He's been slowly but surely progressing here. 310 gold per minute now. Again, he's got the fire branding with that Abyssal Skull actually to follow it up. So we mentioned how he's pretty squishy early on, but Abyssal Skull definitely helps for his sake, as well as even Gemini and just in general with the physical presence here on the Legion side from that pushback specifically. So good pickup there. Gonna follow up most likely into a Geometer's Bane himself, and another great tool to have for his team. So. Obviously no Conga to kind of ninja here once again. They're going to have to just farm the Ancients in the meantime and pick up what they can there with some split farms. Storm Spirit onto Ophelia, so I can throw out her combo with the good old port into Storm Spirit if need be. But at the top lane, Glacius is kind of keeping the pressure on up here. He's actually looking to finish an Astrolabe. He's managed to get Plated Greaves and a very likely Astrolabe to follow here. So pretty good farm actually on TPS Priceless. In the end, Void Talisman just picked up by Behemoth in the meantime. He's not looking to get auto attacks off anyways, and it is great against the teleport team when you really look at it, so solid item choice there. Coming out from Behemoth, but now Bushwhack again, kind of intrigued to see what he goes for next. With the way things are shaping, it looks like maybe that Charged Hammer is probably the good choice here. Granted, unless he wants to open up that other slot of the TP and maybe buy something else or even sell the Energizer into something else, but
he might actually go for more of a damage item because obviously they've got Shrunken Heads picked up on Prisoner now. Obviously the Shrunken Head most likely will be picked up from Gemini, and if he goes to Thunderclaw, then there's a lot of damage and a lot of money in terms of just to get extra magical damage, which I said Reason already have enough. So in that respect, he might go for like a Savage, maybe even Rift Shards perhaps. But most likely it's going to be the Charged Hammer because obviously he wants to keep that slot open for a TP.
Yeah. Now there's actually some interesting discussions going on and kind of being keeping an eye on it as far as Bushwhack goes, and whether or not the Thunderclaw, attack speed is actually the best choice. And I kind of see both ways because there is a point being brought up about, obviously with the new Thunderclaw, it's just straight up attack speed. There's no plus damage that you get from it. Whereas the Q that he has, the Crippling Dart, it actually does scale with the attack damage that you have. And you're talking about 7-second cooldown ability that could be pretty powerful. But at the same time, the attack speed also benefits the ultimate, and the Jungle Toxin especially. So, it's kind of give and take there, I guess.
Also, obviously, the Splinter Shot is 60% of the damage done as well. That's what I mean. I like to see him pick up like an actual damage item in terms of the Thunderclaw, and that's the kind of sort of train of thought I'd like to sort of see. But he's actually going to most likely pick up a Wing Bow or a Gunjura. Either would work perfect, honestly. I'd prefer the Wingbow because there's no one who's going to pick up a Savage Mace nowhere near soon, and there's not a lot of ganking going on either, so the Gunjura sort of mobility factor wouldn't really help too much in terms of the ganking. It would help obviously in terms of mobility in terms of team fights, but I think the Wingbow would be actually top lane.
Yeah, they're going to find Rally up here. Prison Break comes out, going to be out of range though, the tether, and he's able to portal key away as a result, so good distance for Rally right there. And manages to make the escape happen after kind of pushing that top lane by himself and nearly got caught out, but is fine and actually buys the Staff of the Master as soon as he comes back to base, so understandable why he's trying to get that farm right there. Pebbles in the meantime, middle lane, finds a jump on a Switchblade, Rhapsody nearby, has a Melody if need be, not even necessary. The follow-up just wasn't there in time as Behemoth was actually out of range. Yeah, he even portal keyed, but he was just out of range of assisting right there. But yeah, you mentioned the Dancing Blade pickup though on a Bushwhack. There goes, okay, there's the full Wingbow.
Yeah, I prefer that a lot more than the Gunjura. Like, Gunjura is always a good item, obviously, on Bushwhack, but I think for the state of the game, they've been doing a lot more team fights. Obviously, no one's got a Savage here on the Hellborn side, and Wingbow is a better team fight item than Gunjura, because he can't really take effect in terms of the ganking aspects that that Gunjura does.
His also base range is only 450. You know, it's not the longest compared to a lot of other range carries, but now with this up to 550. With the Wingbow buff on top of it. So yeah, a lot of reasons why the Wingbow definitely a very solid option here. Let's just see how fast he just attacks and destroys those freaking Ancients. I mean, that was only a single, if that was a triple, they would have also just melted really quickly because of what he has right now. So yeah, he is, once again, continues to be scary. 623 gold per minute on really most heroes would frankly do that. So making the use there. Now, do they want to push this is the question. Yeah, we saw what happened last time at the top lane. They weren't able to really break through. In fact, Nullstone won that fight. Token wasn't a big part of it, though.
Yeah, exactly. So, Nullstone took much.
Look at the side, yeah. He's like, okay, I got kind of an angle. He wants to, maybe. Do they have any kind of vision on them? It doesn't look like it. So he's pretty good here. As far as trying to find an opening, 20 more seconds to go. Boy's current GPM high is 636. Really? Okay. What hero was that? Was that maybe
It's got to be
Queen, you think? Yeah.
Must be.
I think Dr. Repulsor. He's not usually a Doctor player, though. Maybe not. Gemini's still chasing. That's going to be wearing off soon. Okay, Wretched Ag, we're both wrong. Anyways, he jumps on the Pebbles right here, so they are going to look to initiate. Pops are going to, they're really forcing this. I don't know about this decision from Nullstone. They're really getting antsy. And yeah, a good retreat coming out from Reason. They're like, you're going to pop your Shrunken. We're not going to commit to a fight because we don't need to. They just fall back, so.
Yeah, they don't have the catch potential outside of the hook coming out from Prisoner. So, I mean, again, Reason just realizing, their sort of boundaries of what they can do and what they can't do, just with, the heroes they've got. And sort of great mobility of coming out from Bushwhack as well, obviously running so fast, obviously, with the Energizer and the side step. So.
Bottom lane, Gemini's found it! Gemini drops shortly after. Behemoth Shockwave helps with that. Seismic Slam also assisting. Well, he gets found and he goes down. He didn't have a Shrunken Head, of course, and I don't know if he would have been able to use it anyways because of the lockdown, but still. That's exactly the find that you're looking for, and that could be the game changer. I mean, obviously they've already had a decent lay, but this is going to allow them to kind of break in because he does not have a buyback here. Down goes the tower. Without Gemini, you cannot feel confident holding here for Nullstone Gaming.
They got to try to fight this, though. They can't give up racks. Like, they've got to go.
Well, they even tried to deny it. That doesn't work either. And they say, you know what, we disagree. We just can't. They don't want to fight. And so they just basically concede the racks there in the end.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand, obviously, I don't think they could really win a fight without Gemini, but now they've lost racks, they're already so far behind, and having this sort of map control now for Reason is such a big deal. I mean, obviously, 12,000 gold lead here for Reason Gaming, 6,000 experience lead right now. Yeah. And I mean, Bushwhack is just getting more and more farmed. I mean, I don't know, these next time most likely will be the Charged Hammer, because there's no need to sort of sell the Energizer if he doesn't have to, if he can use another item to stop in that respect. And Gemini, he does have the Shrunken Head right now, obviously, that he bought it just before he died, and maybe there's one more team fight left in Nullstone Gaming, but we'll have to see. I mean, the miracles will have to happen here if Nullstone Gaming can win in the next team fight. Yeah,
this is pretty good here spot to be in. 13,000 gold lead now for Recent Gaming, 6,500 experience lead, so trying to make a statement here, moving on into the round of 4. Again, this is, well, it's Recent Gaming still, but kind of not. I mean, again, Immoboy and Zan the same players, but near TP's price doesn't way too easy the new players on the team. Here going into Cycle 3 and making a point that even with the new roster, they are definitely a team to reckon with still And on the verge of defeating a team that finished 3rd place last cycle, and actually Nullstone defeated Reason on their way to finish 3rd place, including, of course, the victory over BMG, as we talked about several times. So, anyways, 3,300 gold now saved up on Bushwhack. So again, he has enough for the Thunderclaw, or the Charged Hammer, I believe, at this point. Yeah, definitely. Just a matter of does he actually want that? Does he want to save for buyback? We'll have to wait and see. Continue to, but you see the progressions for Nullstone. I mean, it's Gemini, so the Shrunken Head, sure, a big pickup for him, but really still hasn't even been able to make the best use of it. And still a ways off of getting that next tier of item on top of that. So, Frostburn on Swiftblade is nice. In fact, he has enough for a full Dawnbringer even, if he really wanted that. Granted, buyback is important. So I think that's kind of the only thing right now where I feel like Nullstone game why this isn't 100% over, definitely. I mean, they have a Swiftblade who carry potential himself. He's actually got some decent farm now. But as I say that, here goes a Congo attempt.
DD on Bushwhack as well. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yep, that's a dead Congo very quickly. And they catch Rhapsody off to the side. They say hello. And she does not like them anymore. So she goes down, and they know that they can't fight this either, so. Having to give up a Congo kill is never a good feeling.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously a token on Bushwhack right now. And, I mean, I said they needed Miracle like before the token, but now, I mean, they need several.
Yeah. So why waste any time if you're this Legion team? I mean, they're just going to make a push right away here. Is recent game. By the way, Spell Shards picked up on Behemoth. Love seeing that. Charged Hammer is finished on Bushwhack and actually going to be delivered now too. So, yeah, those Spell Shards, that's going to amplify that damage that much more for Near here. On Behemoth, why not get it at this point? Nice luxury item to have as a secondary support. Here, they're going to lose. I mean, it's like, you got to do something, but what can you do? I don't know. It's a tough place to be in. So they're kind of just poking in. Swiftblade's like, I'm not even a ranged hero, and I'm trying to distract. But there we go. The pull-in happens. That is the real Bushwhack they catch initially. Out comes the Shrunken Head from Gemini, and they are going to commit. But look at the block-off right there from Behemoth, at least somewhat. Not a full block-off. And they are going to start falling back, though. The Shrunken Head's going to be wearing off here. Yeah, the coordination's on top right here for the Legion team. Gemini, he splits up with Gemini Spin. He just twin fakes away. In comes the protective mode. He's going to save Swiftblade initially. It's going to save him in the long run. Will it save him? No, it will not. He does go down finally. They get the kill to Glacius. But by then, it's just too late. Rally in the background, stopping them. The seismic slam. Sayonara, they say. GG, well played. Game 2 goes to Reason. And that means the series goes to Reason Gaming as well. Congratulations to them with their victory over Nullstone Gaming. And that was a fun finish, though.
It's a good series. It was a good game. But I mean, Reason Gaming really sort of showing that they mean business. Obviously, Pro Blast was on the podcast with us the other day, saying it and telling us and almost warning us that Reason Gaming, they're here to play. They're a very good team, and Nullstone Gaming, obviously they came third in the last cycle, and to go out in the first round, obviously they didn't drop down, but to lose their first game or the first match is a big deal. And this is what I was trying to say before in a couple of other podcasts as well, is that although obviously Zing and Tree are probably the number one and two teams in Ton right now, but after that, I don't know. There's so many different variables that could happen here, and compared to 3 to 6, there's so many good teams that anyone could take that third or fourth spot.
Well, there's a couple things to look at now. Speaking of where you're getting at right there, Nullstone Gaming, a team that finished 3rd place in Cycle 2, is going to be on the verge of being knocked out and going to Gold Division.
Yeah. Exactly.
In the very next cycle. I mean, that really just shows you, again, just one of many things how even the competition is, especially, it's exactly beyond really Sync Esports right now. It's really anyone's game, you feel like. And they're going to be playing Twisted Fusion, actually, in the losers bracket tomorrow. That is not a guaranteed victory.
Exactly.
At all. We saw earlier, yes, they lost in the end, of course, to Willowkeeper, but definitely we know that team has something that they're hungry, and they're ready to stay in Diamond here in Cycle 3. So, yeah, that's something as well. Recent game, their new lineup, though, they're going to face actually Willowkeeper in the round of 4, and that, too, is now going to be very intriguing. And that will actually be later on today. So we definitely off to a great start here in Cycle 3 as we expected. I'm just making sure right here, yes, and BMG did defeat Wapdash 2-0. So that series also over. So all the first-round matchups have concluded here. We got about a 45-minute break here before the next round is going to be starting. We will keep the stream on, of course. I think it's safe to say, though, we know which second-round matchup we're casting. I mean, it's hard to not cast Sync versus BMG. Even with BMG having somewhat of a new lineup, sure. It's a pretty new lineup, frankly, but it's still Sync versus freaking BMG. I don't think we can pass up on that one. So
No, I'd agree with you.
let's plan to cover that matchup there. Willowkeeper versus Reason obviously also should be a lot of fun. We'll keep an eye on that one. In fact, I believe Lash would probably be casting that as well. He was